Hey there, cat fans. Welcome to Meowster Podcast. I'm Rebecca Zish. That's Tim Black.
Hi.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, but I'm a bit sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some sad news out there.
There's some sad news, cat fans. And you may already know this, so we hate to remind you of your mourning.
We just found out about it.
I actually, it's funny because I'd heard, I guess on National Public Radio, that this situation existed, but then the sad news came as a surprise. It reminded me that I meant to tell you that we should talk about this on the podcast. And then before I knew it, something horrible had happened.
I know. It happened like at the same time as we found out that it existed. Situation.
Yeah, I knew. Well, okay. So here we go.
Found out about it first.
Rather than continuing to just speak in, I don't know, obscure, meaningless pronouns, let's actually address the issue at hand.
Yes.
So just in the last 2 months, New Zealand got a new prime minister.
Yeah.
The new prime minister's name is Jacinda Ardern. Jacinda Ardern is the second youngest ever prime minister of New Zealand. And I believe she is also the third female prime minister of New Zealand in history. Certainly the youngest.
Yeah.
And New Zealanders and cat lovers worldwide were thrilled to find out that in her ascent to the prime ministership, which, by the way, in New Zealand is not done by election. It's done by a party agreement.
Oh, okay.
So I read a lot about this because I was confused. I kept looking for information about her election. I was like, oh, she wasn't elected.
Yeah.
In New Zealand, they have multiple parties, and the parties will agree to leadership. And so she was in leadership for the Labour Party, and there was an agreement, and she was prime minister.
She was the one.
So she is prime minister, but she's only been prime minister this fall. It's a very new thing.
All right.
But cat lovers were thrilled because she and her husband, Clark Gayford is his name.
Yeah. He
hosts a fishing show on television in New Zealand.
Wow, a New Zealand fishing show.
Yeah, he's a TV presenter, as they say.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'd like to see an episode of that.
Yes, he's the first guy of New Zealand.
Okay.
But so the prime minister and her husband, Clark Gayford, they arrived to the positions with a cat.
Yeah.
Not just any cat.
No.
A polydactyl cat who they had adopted from the SPCA and named Paddles. Paddles has a lot of personality, and Paddles almost immediately had a Twitter account.
Yes, I'm looking at it right now.
And everyone was saying, we don't know who is running this Twitter account.
They don't.
It was sure not Prime Minister Ardern. She's like, I'm not spending my time doing this. I'm running the country.
It says here that a lot of the photos that are in this Twitter account come from her Instagram.
Yeah, so they're being shared.
Yes.
But, yeah, so they're being taken, on private property and such, but they're saying that's not them. Some people still thought that it was her husband doing it.
Yeah.
But he was like, it's not me either. But they were very happy about it. They wanted people to continue it.
Sure.
Unfortunately, the Twitter account on November 7th became a place to publicly mourn because poor Paddles got hit by a car.
Yes, he did. She did.
Yeah. And just tragic. And the world mourned. It was like, Paddles, we barely knew ye.
Yeah.
Because the article, this one of the links that I sent you from the BBC was published October 26th about the phenomena of Paddles and her Twitter account. And then it was only 12 days later that she was hit by a car. So the BBC had barely latched on to this. This was new to them.
Yes.
And it's just It was shocking
It was.
to people.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anywhere how old Paddles was.
I saw somewhere that Paddles was about a year old. It said
She's
12
little.
months. Yeah.
She's a little thing.
It said somewhere that she was 12. In one of these Twitter posts,
Yeah.
it said that she was 12 months old.
Or that they'd adopted her 12 months. It's hard to say exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know specifically, but about a year or so.
In any case, if you're as saddened by the loss of Paddles as we are, Prime Minister Ardern asked that people who wanted to mourn her make contributions to the New Zealand SPCA.
And people did.
Lots of people.
Like they had 6 times as many donations as they normally have, I saw.
Right. Yeah.
And that's, when you're thinking of a relatively small country like New Zealand, that's huge.
Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah, they got a lot of money. Yeah, the woman who's like in charge of processing donations for them, she posted on Twitter and it got retweeted on Paddle's page about like her overtime or something.
Oh, okay.
Because normally that's a one-person job, processing the donations. You know, the thank you letters and like whatever else goes out, the receipts for taxes, you know. And,
right.
And I don't think it was a one-person job there for, at least for the last, well, we're recording this on November 18th.
Yeah.
So just 11 days afterwards. And as far as I can tell, those donations are still
rolling
coming in.
Sure.
Yeah, her handle at Twitter was at First Cat of NZ.
First Cat of NZ.
And that Twitter account is still up there. You can still see it. You can still scroll through. You can still see all the adorable photos. And some of the photos were actually originally tweeted by the Prime Minister's husband.
Oh, okay.
They're like pictures he took on his phone.
Okay.
And tweeted. And then it looks like they were retweeted by the person running by Paddles herself. Although, you know, so before she passed, the Prime Minister did jokingly make the comment to the press when saying, you know, we're not doing this.
Right.
We don't know who is, but we wouldn't put it past Paddles to be doing it herself because she is polydactyl.
Sure.
And she may know how to type.
She's a very clever cat.
Yes. We're not going to put it past her. It could be her. But whoever was doing it, they're still maintaining it for now in any case. And that's nice. And now people listening to us right now, Tim, are saying, this is it? This is the episode? They're going to tell us this horrible, sad thing and move on? And say, go play with your cats?
Go play with your cats.
I mean, and don't let them run in the street.
Yeah, that's important. That was the thing I was saying. We talked about it a little bit before we started recording. That we don't have any details about what happened. Yeah, specifically, where Paddles was at the time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter because it is a tragedy anyway.
Whatever happened,
but yeah, we don't know. I kind of want to know some details.
I don't think we're ever going to know any details.
Right.
They released to the press what they were willing to release to the press.
Yeah.
And that's not very much.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just that's how she died. She died. Actually, it's being referred to as a car accident.
A car accident. Yeah. Which before I read the details that I do have, I was like, well, what was the Prime Minister in the car when this accident happened? Where were they going? Were they going to the vet or something?
You almost imagine they were going to the vet.
Whose fault was it? Yeah.
But no, it just appears that she was hit by a car.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, here in America, you really need to keep your cats indoors. In other countries, I know the most about the UK, but in other countries, they don't have those expectations of keeping cats indoors. And in fact, in some countries, they really think it's unkind to make a cat live indoors.
Yeah.
It appears that most of the pictures that I've seen of Paddles online, she is outside. So it looks like she was a cat who had free roam.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you were asking about the Prime Minister's residence.
Yes.
And that appears to not be a thing in New Zealand because
the official
it doesn't seem
Prime Minister mansion.
No,
whatever.
it does not seem like that's a thing because Mr. Gayford, the first gentleman,
yes.
whatever, he, in a different article I was reading, he told a story about how the prime minister was taking a phone call from President Trump.
Yes.
And that Paddles came flying through her cat flap, squawking, like flying through a cat trap, going meow meow, like announcing "I'm home," while the prime minister was trying to have
coming in from being outside.
And it's interesting because it's a conversation that hit the American news. Like it wasn't a terribly pleasant conversation as I remember it hitting the news. That we don't need to say anything about our president, but I didn't get the impression he was as polite to her. But this conversation, because Paddles comes flying through the door, right? Yeah. Or through her cat flap.
That's not going to make the situation any better.
No. But they were at their home.
Right.
And they, and yes, I said that Jacinda Ardern had not been prime minister for terribly long, but they were just living at their regular house. They weren't.
Right.
Which, according to everyone's descriptions and then all the pictures online of Paddles hanging around, appears to be a very bucolic atmosphere. Mm-hmm. Like there's actually pictures from when Jacinda Ardern was announced as the new prime minister. The press just came up into their backyard, it looks like. Yes. And there were pictures of Paddles just laying around with like 50 members of the press, and Paddles totally unbothered by this. And just laying around in some grass.
In the background, you see those press people. That's a really great photo. I like that photo a lot.
Yeah. And so it just appears that they were just living at their irregular house that they've ever been living in. The prime minister's husband described it as like their little cottage. So, they just it's not a fancy life that they had, but certainly one that seemed to have plenty of open space and greenery. And so when you live a life like that and you have a cat who's adventurous and interested and curious, if you think it's safe, those are the choices people make. And unfortunately, tragedies do happen.
They do.
Yeah, but the tragedies can happen in other ways as well. And
of course.
It's just, the world is mourning poor Paddles. I did learn something from all of this. I learned the word moggy. Do you know the word moggy?
Yeah, I've heard moggy. I've heard that's a British sort of word.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was new to me. If you don't know, moggy is another word for just a stray, or sort of a mutt, a cat mutt.
Cat mutt.
Yeah,
exactly. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So some kind of, usually a short-haired cat, but so they were calling Paddles the PM, the prime moggy.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the thing with that caricature that someone had drawn?
Yeah, but I saw it a number of places.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a sweet caricature. That was actually tweeted by the prime minister. So there's all these different tweets that you can find if you look online, and some of them are from the prime minister, some from her husband, and some from this Paddles account.
Okay, yeah.
But they also seem to be retweeting each other.
Yeah.
So, I just assumed it was like some PR person doing it. It could be, and they're still just denying that they know, and that way, they could pretend it was Paddles. But if that were the case, then the Twitter feed would have stopped.
That's true.
Yeah.
And still going.
No matter how awesome, she was a cat. I don't think she was managing her own Twitter feed.
I don't think so. Doesn't seem too likely, but
in any case, what this has brought up otherwise besides our deep compassion for the first family of New Zealand and their loss, is that, first of all, I think a lot of people often forget that New Zealand is in Asia.
Right. That's true.
And what this has brought up is that
Oceania region.
Yes. It turns out that there are a lot of presidential cats in Asia.
That's true.
And all very recently. So Paddles was only the most recent. But just in the last year and a half there have been a lot of new presidential cats throughout Asia. And this is so interesting to me. I think we do consider that part of the world to be cat friendly and in some cases cat obsessed.
Yeah.
It's where Hello Kitty comes from. Right.
And we talked about that that Japanese politician who was running for mayor and had the had a cat on his official poster.
Yes. Speaking of election or campaign posters and advertisements and such, the president of Taiwan, her name is Dr. Tsai Ing-wen. She's a former law professor. She was elected president of Taiwan January 16th, 2016, and assumed office, moved into the official residence of the president in May of 2016. And when she did that, she brought with her two cats, Think and Sai. I believe is the correct.
Think and Sai.
Yes. And I believe Think is the gray tabby and Sai is the orange tabby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you looking at them?
I am looking at Think and Sai have a Wikipedia page.
Yes.
And I'm looking
that is actually what I'm looking at too.
Okay.
Because all of the other information I found about them online turned out to not be in a language I can read. And so I had to resort to this Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
But they're very popular. In fact, if lest we forget, the idea of the cat cafe originally came from Taiwan, not from Japan.
No, Japan kind of borrowed that. I didn't know that. I learned that by reading this.
Oh, I thought we talked about that before because I was aware of that. I've told people that before, just in conversation.
That didn't stick with me somehow. It turned into a Japanese thing for me.
I think the Japanese may want you to think it's a Japanese thing. They certainly don't give credit to Taiwan.
You, Japan.
But I do. It was my understanding that I'd read that before. In any case, so these two cats are both. They were homeless kitties. They were adopted by the president before she was president, obviously. Yes. And they weren't related before they were adopted, but they are the best of friends. And they play together. And there's pictures of them all over the internet, like wrestling and playing and sleeping together.
There's some pictures of some campaign literature that
and she was actually
with them
when running them. Well, that's my point. That was my transition. My attempted transition was that she had used them in her advertising when running for president. But it was an interesting thing. Some opposition started calling her the cat woman in an attempt to demean her.
Okay.
But in Taiwan, people love cats.
So it backfired.
It seemed to have backfired. Because then people were like, oh, she's the cat woman. They were also made into anime characters for some campaign videos.
Okay.
And they were also included, some like pixelized versions of them were included on a stamp celebrating her election. Yeah. So, yeah, it's very cool.
That is.
Anyway, they're just very popular. They're very sweet. They're both short-haired tabbies, just regular cats. Think was actually a gift to her. It was a homeless kitten that another legislator in the Democratic Progressive Party brought to her. He found her muddy by a railway station, which for a second sounded like a Simon and Garfunkel song to me, but it's not. And Asai was a gift from a friend of hers while she was running for president. And I have to admit, Think is female, Asai is male. And so Asai was a farm cat. So was born on a farm and was a gift to her while she was running for president for good luck.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the two cats seemed to get along great. Before she was president, she just lived in a little apartment, what she could afford on her professor's salary.
Yeah.
Just her and her two cats. And now they live in the official residence of the president.
They have one there.
Just her and her two cats.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, because I looked, but it does not appear that she is married.
No, in fact, that fact that she is an unmarried woman, that was brought up as a campaign against her thing.
Right.
That is a single lady with cats,
Yeah, well, as a single lady with cats, I say, and with two cats, one gray, one orange, I will say there is nothing wrong with that.
Shortly after Tsai's election, she was criticized for being a single woman and therefore, quote unquote, emotional and erratic. In a newspaper article published by China's new agency Xinhua, the article, written by Wang Weijing, a military officer in the PLA, provoked an outcry for its sexist views and was quickly withdrawn.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find some of these.
I'm trying to
find some of these commercials with her animated cats.
Oh, that would be awesome if you could find them. If you can find them, can you put them up online for people to look at?
If I could find them, but as of right now, I can't find anything.
I think, when people focus on this idea of her being a Catwoman, though, just because her cats were in her campaign posters and some other campaign material with her, they're overlooking the fact that she also has 3 dogs that are rescue dogs that she has adopted. In fact, one of the things that is supposed to separate her and her political leanings and the party that the political party she's a part of, is that she does adopt her pets, that she does adopt homeless pets. And that has not really ever been a thing they've seen before in the leadership in Taiwan. So it really separates her. It really makes her seem different from everyone else. Similarly, in South Korea, the president is doing the same thing. President Moon Jae-in has all of his pets, and he has a cat and then multiple dogs, at least 2, I think. They were all homeless animals that were adopted through rescues, and no other leader in South Korea has apparently ever had rescue pets before. And it's a real movement in South Korea to acknowledge the homeless animal population and try to do something about it. And when Moon Jae-in was running for president, part of his platform included the idea of South Korea being a safer place for homeless animals. He also said that he supported building more shelters and official cat feeding stations for the country's feral cat population.
That's a good.
Where they could safely eat.
Yes.
Yeah, that was part of his campaign material. So it's a real movement in South Korea to, really try to get a handle on homeless pet population control.
Yeah.
And he's a leader in that, and he wants to be a part of that, and he wants to see his country grow and change in that way. And it's not just lip service, he's doing it. He's giving homes to homeless animals. In fact, he and his wife, they pledged during the campaign to adopt. As part of their campaign, they had visited some animal shelters, and at one, they really were quite taken by this one little dog. And they pledged to adopt the dog if they were elected and were moving into like the presidential, where they would have more space and they'd have room for another dog.
Yeah.
And So in pledging to adopt this dog, the thing that most people latched onto was that it's a black dog.
Okay.
And much like black cats around the world are derided and have difficulty getting adopted, in Korea, black dogs are absolutely considered bad luck, and they represent all kind of evil, I guess, in folklore and such.
Okay.
And if you're a black dog and you are in a shelter or on the street, you have no chance at all of making it.
I see.
And so the president and his wife saying, we love this little dog, and if elected, we will adopt this dog. And they did. They absolutely did. And they brought it home with them. It's a sweet little thing.
Nice.
But that's really them, like I said, being leaders in this. Now, I'm going to show you a picture of this dog. And when I saw it, I'm like, that's not really a black dog. But I guess this phobia of black dogs, or, at least the legends that surround them, runs so deep in the culture that even a dog that's not very black at all.
No, he's got black ears.
Yeah, he's got black ears and black around his eyes. And he's kind of like a gray color.
Yeah.
Otherwise. He's a funny little guy.
Yeah.
He's this picture of him. It's the only picture.
He looks happy.
Yeah, it's the only picture I saw of his face straight on.
Yeah.
He's got a funny little pink tongue and.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a big nose. He seems to have a big nose.
He does have a.
I think it's just the coloring on his face, but it makes it look like he has a big nose.
He does have a big nose.
Yeah. So he is now a presidential dog. But more importantly, who is the presidential cat in South Korea? Well, the cat's name is Jingjing. It is South Korea's first cat. This is the first cat ever.
First cat.
Yes. It's the first cat ever to live in the presidential home in South Korea. In any case, so Jingjing was originally a stray that the president's daughter found and brought home. But in 2007, so 10 years ago, she got married, and she asked her parents to keep the cat for her or maybe their parents were like, you're not taking that cat. We love that. I'm not sure what the conversation was, but in any case, the cat stayed with her parents when she got married and had lived with her parents ever since. People had known about Jingjing since the first time Moon ran for president. And because he had actually had his picture taken repeatedly with the cat as a means of demonstrating to the people of South Korea that he was a different kind of politician, a caring man, someone with empathy and, who cared about things besides himself, I guess. So, yeah. So it's an interesting way of getting that message across. He was repeatedly photographed with the cat. And this is a very sweet picture. Of course, our listeners can't see this, but I really like this picture. Are you looking at that one? Yeah. There's some really great pictures of him with this cat online, like a ton of them. But this is the article I chose to focus on because I liked this picture so much. In this picture, for our listeners, he's wearing like a big sun hat, like he's been out gardening. It almost kind of looks like it's his wife's hat. But he's got the kitty cuddled, and they're looking at each other, and he's scratching her on the head. And it's very nice. I guess Jingjing is quite well known for being a birder. She's a good bird catcher.
Oh, okay.
And so there is a little bit of concern because there are a lot of birds that live on the presidential compound. And so there are some people who have expressed some concern for the safety of those birds that Jingjing may have too much activity at her new home.
Yes.
But otherwise, she seems to be adapting fine. They moved in May. So so this is very recent.
Recent.
Like I said, all this stuff is very recent.
Here's an interesting tidbit about the president's residence in Korea.
Oh, yeah?
It's called the Blue House.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did read that. As opposed to our White House.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have the Blue House.
Yeah, the Blue House. I love it. Yeah. So apparently, the compound there that the Blue House is in is full of little birds.
Yeah.
Little birds for Jingjing to watch.
Yes.
And hopefully be kept away from.
Yes.
I don't know if she's going to be kept an inside cat at the new compound. But I did see some pictures online of President Moon carrying her. I guess they let the press into the house for the day that Xing was going to move into the house.
Uh-huh.
And so there's all these pictures of him carrying her. He's in a suit. He's like carrying her from room to room.
Yeah.
And saying like, okay, I'm sure this is what he's saying to her. This is your new home. This is where we live now.
This is my office.
Yeah, it's very sweet. But the president actually, in his social media, said something about, I can't remember, it's a family of starlings, but a family of a particular type of small bird that he noticed had just hatched eggs. And he was like, so we'll be keeping Xing away. We don't want her to know they're there. And I wonder if she really is good at catching birds, or if, like my cats, she thinks she's good at catching birds, but she's really never caught a real bird.
Right.
I don't think that's true, because I did read that at their home that she has brought dead birds to the door. But if she's not, but I would think if you move to a new house, it's really best to not let your cat go outside.
It is.
Because they don't know where they are anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll keep her indoors, and then all the birds will be safe too.
Absolutely. That would be a good plan.
So the last Asian leader that I wanted to talk about today, who has lovely cats, is the Malaysian Prime Minister.
Yes.
The Malaysian Prime Minister, Najib Razak.
Uh-huh.
He has 4 fluffy cats.
They are fluffy.
4 very fluffy cats. And they are so cute. And he loves them so much.
Yes, he does.
Oh, my goodness. They might be the biggest celebrities in Malaysia. I don't know. I mean, personally, I'm not aware of Malaysian celebrities, I have to admit.
No, me neither.
That's a blind spot in my international knowledge.
Unfortunately, yeah, me too.
Yeah. But he's got his 4 kitty cats.
I'm on his Instagram right now. He's got a lot of pictures of food and cats.
Food and cats from the Prime Minister of Malaysia.
Yes.
So his 4 very fluffy cats are Leo, Kiki, Tiger, and Simba. And I do have to say, those are all classic cat names.
They are.
Yeah. Now, these are all pedigree cats.
Yeah.
These are all purebred.
Not muggies.
No, not moggies. And so this kind of goes into a more traditional, what I've been reading anyway, is more traditional in the way of Asian leadership, that they usually have dogs, but they're usually pedigree dogs. In fact, did you read about the previous Korean president who had 4 pedigree dogs?
Okay.
And when she was ousted, she left them behind on the compound.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the country went bananas. Because not only had she been impeached, but then she didn't even have the heart to take her dogs with her.
Wow.
She left them there. Now, they have all found homes since then. Someone in the government took it upon themselves to make sure that they were adopted out to good families. And that was all the different sort of thing that happened in social media in the country. But but it's just shocking.
That is.
Yeah. So to go from that president who had these pedigree dogs, these very rare pedigree dogs that had been very expensive.
Yeah.
And then to just abandon them, like they weren't members of her family.
Right.
To the new South Korean president who is, has all his dogs and cats.
I mean, that would have been,
or dogs and cat who came to him as strays.
That in itself would have been grounds for impeachment.
You would hope so. You would certainly hope so.
Yeah.
And it definitely would have been grounds for impeachment. You want to know why, Tim?
Why?
Because I got that number wrong.
Oh, you did?
It wasn't 4 dogs.
It wasn't 4 dogs.
It was 9.
9. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And instead, President Moon has his black dog named Tori, his other dog, Maru, and his cat, Jing Jing.
Jing Jing.
Yep. Yep. All from shelters.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but back to the Malaysian prime minister.
Yeah.
So, yes, he does have these pedigree cats.
Yes, he does.
But my God, does he dote on them? Every picture I see of them, they look like they've all just had baths and been blow dried.
Yeah, I do.
Right? Like they're ready for a show. Like they're
do.
ready to go and.
They're at least well brushed. Yes.
Yes. No, but these tails, this one guy has a tail that's got to be like, it's so fluffy. It's got to be like 8 inches in diameter.
Look at this guy right here.
Oh, yeah, that's the littlest.
That picture has 4,400 likes.
Yeah, that's not even one of his cats. That's just another cat.
This little one, it says this little one came over to remind me yesterday was International Cat Day.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's just some other cat.
That's just some other cat.
That's just a fluffy cat. He just likes fluffy cats. But who doesn't? Yeah. No, but this is the one I'm talking about. If you see this one in this picture, every time I see a picture of this one, this tail.
Simba?
I think so.
Yes, because here's a picture of Simba right here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's Simba.
Yes.
Yeah. Simba's tail, Tim, it's insane how big around. I really do think it's been blow dried. It doesn't make sense.
Oh my!
Otherwise, but I found the most adorable story about he was supposed to be. So the Prime Minister of Malaysia was taking an international trip to China.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to be gone for a week.
Oh dear!
So he was tweeting about how the cats were going to be taking care of the house. He didn't want the people in Malaysia to be concerned about what would happen when he and his wife would be gone.
Yeah.
Right? So he took all these pictures of the cats just walking around in different rooms of the house and put them all up on his social media.
Oh.
Yeah. The cats will be happily looking after the home while we're away. Just pictures of them walking around. And they all seem to get along.
Keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, they all seem to get along great. And the youngest one only came to live with them very recently too. I'd seen that on social media. So there were like kitten pictures. Yes, Leo. There were kitten pictures on his social media of new Leo, and there were like pictures that were reactions from the other cats to Leo.
You've seen that one?
Yes, I've seen that one.
And that picture again on Instagram has 8,452 likes.
It'd be interesting to know how many people live in Malaysia.
Yeah, right.
I don't know that information, nor do I know their average rainfall. Isn't that? I was just saying, like, what would be facts you would find in an encyclopedia?
Right. Number 1 export.
Yeah. I never did a school report on Malaysia.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Well, it's funny that you're mentioning how many likes are on those pictures because something I found about the Taiwanese president, Dr. Tsai Ing-wen, is when she was campaigning, her campaign staff found that when they put out on social media a picture of her with one of her cats, that the rate of likes was 50% higher than if it was just a picture of her doing something on the campaign trail or just a picture of her smiling.
Okay.
If they added a cat, one of her cats, they'd get a rate of 50% higher likes.
How about that?
Yeah. So.
Okay.
So that is how she came to be known as the cat woman, because once you find that out, you get the cats in all the pictures. Right?
That's just politics.
Oh, yeah. That's easy peasy. I liked this story, too. Did you see the story about Prime Minister Najib of Malaysia, where he was out doing some kind of appearance, as people do. And they were like in a fishing community.
Okay.
And this cat stole a fish from a fisherman.
Okay.
And then ran toward the prime minister and the crowd around him.
Oh.
And ran right through the people and right up to the prime minister and dropped the fish.
Wow.
And then ran away. And the prime minister was just laughing. He just thought this was fantastic.
Yeah.
And he picked up the fish and gave it back to the fisherman.
Oh, that was nice.
It was almost like a staged fantastic thing. Like,
right.
like cats love the prime minister so much that they run up to him and give him
him a gift. Yes.
Yeah, they're willing to steal to give him a gift. But the prime minister is such a wonderful and warm man that he jovially adores the cat and their behavior, but gives the fish back to the fisherman.
Thank you, Mr. Cat, but I think this guy should have it.
And here is a picture that was in all the news.
Oh, wow. Look at that. He's handing it over.
Fish. Yeah.
He's smiling. Look at the smile on his face.
Oh, I know. Yeah. He just thought this was the greatest thing that ever happened.
Wow. That's cool. I like that.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love that story. I have to say that a leader with a cat really says something to me.
Yeah, definitely.
But what kind of person they are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, not that dogs are okay, but
sure,
people who have a lot of dogs sometimes need that kind of unconditional love that dogs give.
Exactly.
Right? Whereas cats, you create a relationship with the cat.
You earn a cat's trust.
Yeah. It's a give and take with a cat.
It is.
Yeah. So
for sure.
So that they're willing to do that and willing to care enough about an animal to want to rescue them as well, to have these rescue pets is just fantastic. And it just is so interesting that there's so much of this going on in Asia.
It is
right now.
Yeah. And if it weren't for Paddle's untimely demise, we wouldn't know about all this.
Yeah, I'd heard about Paddles on National Public Radio and was like, oh, I have to remember that.
Yeah.
And then I forgot until she died.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And that makes me feel bad.
Well,
but
you have a lot going on.
But lots of other people did not forget about her and were following her every day.
Yes.
And she was quickly becoming an international celebrity and unfortunately met her end much too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully a prime minister of New Zealand I know she has some mourning to do and some important work to do for the country.
Sure.
But hopefully she and her husband will have time at some point to go visit the SPCA again and see if another cat chooses them.
That would be nice. That would be a nice happy ending for a cat.
Because that is the story they tell, that Paddles chose them.
Yes.
They went to the SPCA, and what I thought was nice too was the prime minister said in her social media that she wanted everyone to remember the SPCA because they rescued Paddles first.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think they found her first before we did. So, yeah.
Very nice.
And that's always a nice message.
For sure.
To remember that, all of these cats that are becoming famous on social media and are certainly famous in their own countries, the ones that came from shelters or came from a muddy railroad track, that they were animals that other people didn't want. And then not only were they wanted, but now they get to be famous.
I've got another picture of one of the Malaysian prime minister's cats.
So fluffy.
Very fluffy.
Oh my goodness.
But look at that. That picture is taken from the floor. That whoever took that picture got on the floor with their camera.
So do you think the prime minister of Malaysia lays down on his belly in his I don't know, whatever the estate or house or whatever it might be that he lives in, and that he lays on his belly and looks his cats eye to eye,
make little kissy noises to get the cat to look,
and then puts them on his Instagram?
Somebody did that. Somebody did it.
Yeah.
So I just noticed that it was taken at that angle. It's like somebody got on the floor to take that picture.
I'd like to think it was the
I'd like to think so too.
The Prime Minister. Because I don't care what you do for a living, you should take time to take pictures of your pets and to tell lengthy stories about your pets to your friends and family and play with your pets.
Play with your pets.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's a good reminder for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Go play with your
cats. Yes.
Bye.
Bye.